the only way to start your day.
But before we do that, Dennis has today's proverb.
Yes. Again from the continent here. And this one talks about just being fair, fairness pretty much. And the Africans at the time said, they that dig the well should not be refused water. How would you interpret that?
The one that works is the one that should be paid.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I interpret.
Yeah.
Even the Bible says that if a man does not work, he shouldn't eat.
Yeah.
So if you work,
You should
expect payment. If you don't work, expect nothing.
There you go.
Alas.
Exactly. The last time we had this conversation, I think we were doing, and I say this with all carefulness, we were doing the same thing that the president of the country currently is doing in many minds, is that dare to dream that there's an alternate reality to what you've seen before, or dare to imagine that this can actually be made possible. Dare to imagine that elections don't need to cost 2,000 shillings per Kenyan, but that they can actually cost under 40 shillings, and dare to imagine that results, the results are normally the issue, John, when it comes to elections, and that people say these results that this process has delivered is not believable to me. And because of that, I will then act. And and then the result of that then is chaos or dissatisfaction with the system. But it all comes from the inability or the refusal to imagine that this process has seen this result, because the things that we've put in along the line, human intervention, lack of technology, lack of resources, have come up with this result which is unacceptable. And that is the case in a lot of elections. It's unacceptable because of those three factors having been applied. But what we are saying now is dare to imagine where there is a process that is void of those three things. And we are still trying to tell people that that is a possibility. How can we get into that again, even as... And so you left a lot of people saying, really?
Yeah, can imagine.
Can it really work that I can vote? And I think one of the last things that we said is that I can vote from my phone. And even that is secure. How can we actually have that as a possibility?
Okay. Now, we need to be very clear, crystal clear about a very fundamental truth. I don't know if it was here that I made a statement, and I would request you to maybe understand this. 2001, China finally joins the WHO. WTO, which is World Trade Organization. By the time China is coming on board, China is producing at a certain level, but they are not given the opportunity to sell their produce. They're not given a global platform to do so. So China finally comes on board and becomes, given rights, and they begin to produce. Fast forward it to, by the time China now comes on board, China, when it took over, it had approximately 22 dams. Ask me how many dams China has now. 22,000 dams.
1,000 times.
22,000 dams. I realized that the other day we had an issue with Kimwarer. We are still waiting for one dam to be to find out where the money went.
It was 36 billion?
Yeah. So 2015 now China comes forward, and that's why I'm just using China, and I would request again to the young people. I know we have internet, and I know we like talking more than listening, but it is wisdom to listen. A fool speaks because he wants to say something. A wise man speaks because he has something to say. They almost sound similar, but if you're wise, you'll understand the parable. So make sure you only speak because you have something to say. And in order for you to have something to say, you need to have first listened. So now China fast forward the whole issue, and in 2015, China comes up with the concept of Made in China 2025. Remember, they have an idea. Everything begins with an idea. Without an idea, you're doing nothing. Made in China, they even put the time period 2025. So within a 10-year period, there are several things that China wanted to be a master over. Number one is electric vehicles. I hope you know at that particular, Tesla is big. China is coming into power. No one is buying Chinese electric cars.
Right.
Anything to do with pure clean energy, China is not necessarily known to that level. So you have electric cars, you have clean energy, several things that China did. So what the government of China does is that it creates a subsidy within their vision. And I would like the Kenyan government to focus on that. They create a subsidy along that reality of anyone that is going to come on board and invest within these areas of our interest, the government will give approximately 22 to 24% of the subsidy. You can imagine, assuming you are needing 10 million, 22, let's say 25% is approximately 2.5 million, is already catered for. What would make you not invest in that business? So imagine the Kenyan government coming and saying, apart from 50,000 mushikane watu kumi, come 10 people or 5 people and let's give you 50,000 to do
empowerment.
Okay, but again, depending on the empowerment and what you're really looking at, it depends. So now the people begin to, BYD is one of the companies that actually comes on board. And as we are talking right now, as we are talking right now, and I want you to hear it, China has overtaken Tesla in terms of production of electric cars. I hope you know that. Number two, the amount of money that it will take you to buy, let's say, a Rolls Royce. There's a certain car in China that is competing powerfully with more features than the Rolls Royce. The car is approximately less, I think, $100,000 or less. So you can imagine how much money you're saving, all up from $400,000-$500,000 down to $100,000. So it becomes competitive. There is a sports car that, you've seen it's bouncing.
Yes, yes.
You know, all that is Chinese information. Lamborghini can't even come close. You will understand why I'm saying that. So all that is within the 10-year framework. Made in China, remember, 2020.
25.
So by 2025, these are the several things we need to have mastered within a 10-year period of time.
Right.
I hear a lot of people saying, China is already ahead. We are talking now about 10 years, which I hope you know Singapore and Kenya got independence approximately, give or take 2 years, apart from each other. And today Singapore is where it is, with very little minerals and stuff like that. So China now comes on board and they begin to make these systems. And now, fast forward, today, China is able to produce, the electric company is able to manufacture and assemble 2 electric vehicles per minute.
I'm sorry?
Every minute, China is able to produce 2 electric vehicles per minute. Something Tesla cannot keep up with. Now remember, 10 years ago, are they in the plan?
No.
So 10 years later, they are part of the plan. I'm only saying this to show those people that bring the concept of, can it work, can it do what? That's not the mind of a person that wants to change anything. Because equally speaking, the nations that are doing it, at some point, they were not able. So how did they do it? They made a plan and they set a time frame that by 2027, we need to have started assuming voting electrically. That should be the first thing. It's not about whether it can work or it can't work. Can we first begin to produce electric cars by 2025? Today, China has overpowered. China has totally gone ahead and is doing all those things. Secondly, China is now the biggest 3 solar power company, or rather production. The biggest 3 of them in the world are in China. 10 years ago, they are not known for that. 10 years later, the biggest 3 of them. The biggest 3 wind power systems, they're in China. 22,000 dams up from 22 dams are in China. 6% of the clean water in China, in the world, the global clean water, is in China. I hope you're understanding that.
Yeah.
So the question I'm asking, how did they begin? They began by setting a plan and desiring to achieve it. Not telling us it's possible, it's not possible. There is nothing impossible in this world. You seated there, who told you are possible? Let me ask you something, my sister. 20 years ago or something, in that assumption, assuming, if someone, you would have told your parents, Mom, Dad, I'm going to be seated in Spice FM and I'm going to be the main person, would they even have believed it? 30 years ago, 20 years ago, would everyone have believed it? No, but the fact that you sat there, you proved them wrong by the day.
Yeah.
So it's not about whether you believe it can be done or it can't be done. The fact that we've set our plan and then we say that we want Kenya to be fully electric by this time. We have a lot of time between now and 2027. Everything begins with setting up a goal. Once you set up a goal, the rest of the things are history.
Brings the question in terms of the defeatist mentality that does exist, you know. It is a question of everyone that you've just mentioned, even Steve Jobs, and coming up with the technology of mobile phones today. You know, no one ever thought about it the way he did. Touchscreen. Well, what do you mean? You've never seen that before. But he had a dream. He had a plan around it. The reason why today we pay homage to what he did. But here we are in terms of show us where this has worked before so that we can trust you. And that is defeatist mentality, because we do not trust in ourselves, we do not believe in ourselves. But how do we change that, John? How do we, because at the end of the day, you look at the likes of IEBC, and here is a product that they ought to pick up and run with it, because it is cheaper for the Mwananchi. It is cleaner, it is fair, it is credible. Everything within the constitution that you want to achieve is through this technology. Why the defeatist mentality, or is it just how we are?
Change is very difficult. And there are several types of change. The first type of change is willing change. This is where the partner must play a part within their minds, their framework of their hearts, to see to it that it happens. The second type of change is what you call forced change. And this is where many governments here, I hope you know, governments respect noise. They're not willing to do it, but they are forced to do it. I mean, you can imagine how many nations, the other day, which nation, is it Madagascar? You have several nations that clearly, which nation actually overturned, and the president, they took out the president and they put in a new one. All things are possible. But there are two types of change. Remember, the first one is willing change, where the parties must be involved willfully. They must get to a point where they themselves are tired with what currently is working. You must the Bible says on that day, when you are tired, the anointing will break the yoke off your neck. But you have to get tired of your current situation. Kenyans must get tired of fighting every 5 years. Kenyans must get tired of killing each other every 5 years. Kenyans must get tired. Now, assuming Kenyans have not gotten tired, you deploy the second reality of it, the second type of change, which is what you call forced change. What does that mean? In forced change, you do it, they catch up later. You start playing your part. You insist, even though you can find resistance here and there. I mean, take the case of Mandela. Mandela was not given South Africa. That's forced change. In as much as some people, then eventually those people that did not understand what it was, because of what they are now beginning to see, okay, it's working like this, it's working like this, it's working like this, then their will begins to take place. Now, we cannot neglect the fact, and I want to repeat this, Kenya, it is up to you. You want these people to play games with you, that's your problem. Then secondly, you need to ask yourself a question. Let's compare what is with what needs to be. What is spends approximately 2,000 per voter. I'm assuming right now Mbadi has, our Minister of Finance, has spoken that we need 61.7 billion, up from 40-something billion. That would mean even the voter, the amount of money which was from 2,000, we are assuming he should be able to, I mean, it's going to go higher, whether it's by 200 or whatever. Here is a system that is telling you per voter is 36 bob. Then here is a system telling you per voter is 2,000. Number one. Here is a system telling you that the Form 34As can be tampered with. Here's a system that's telling you it cannot be tampered with easily. And you remember the computing power in order for you, remember how we spoke about it, in order for you to hack and change it. Thirdly, here's a system that's telling you, guaranteeing you that diaspora votes are going to be more because of the comfort of voting from your home. Here's a system that's telling you,
you can't do it.
We can't do it. I'm giving you the options. Number four, here's a system that's telling you your vote, you can be able to look to really fact check your vote, that your vote really counted. As opposed to here's a system that's telling you, trust us, we are the ones that know who voted.
Piga kura, chunga kura.
Exactly. You can imagine that concept. Number five, so I'm giving those statistics so that people can begin. And that's why I'm saying, in as much as we have a great opportunity, we can't force you to want to change. Kenyans themselves must get tired, and especially of one thing. And by the way, I'm saying this. The biggest reason I'm fighting for this is death. To see even one person dying for one person to be voted in, to me, it doesn't make sense. You shouldn't die to put me into power. You should be alive to see me in power to help you. The fifth thing I'm talking about, here is a system that's telling you anyone from the comfort of their houses can vote. Here is a system that's telling you, go to your polling station. So if you just compare the 5-6 things compared to many other things, let me ask you a layman's language. Let's just be a layman's point of view.
Right.
Looking at these comparisons, what option would you rather take? Looking at these comparisons.
Soft life.
I mean, it's clear that,
Right?
it makes sense.
So in as much as we would like to pamper this generation and say, but there is no but. In order for Singapore to be Singapore, there is forced change. In order for China to be China, there is forced change. In order for Kenya to be Kenya, people must force that change. And if you really love this nation, you must first do anything to protect it. Forget your member of parliament, forget who you love. Protect Kenya before you protect your leader. Because without Kenya, the leader has nowhere to lead.
It's interesting as you say these things, and I imagine, and the pictures play through my mind of, the different electoral processes that I've witnessed or experienced over the last give or so 15 years for every election cycle over the last 15 years, and it's been marred by the things that you talk about. There's been resistance to the will of the people. There has been alleged misbehavior or misconstruction of the facts. This has been the case, and that it's not something that people look forward to. It's something that people dread. That's the truth. That people dread that period when this will happen, because they say, okay, so now what's going to happen? The truth of the matter is that today, folks are having a conversation about two things: leaving the country before the election happens because they are afraid. This is the truth. And we can say it today, and people can say that we are complaining, but it is the reality of our times, that people want to gather their families and not be in Kenya if an event should take place like an election that will happen in 2027, that is going to be many times worse than what we saw just 2 weeks ago. So they will leave, or there is the expectation that things will be bloody. That's what's in people's minds today.
True.
But we're still existing in a reality whereby we've taken that in, and we almost are laughing about it now. And we say, yeah. Look at what the by-election was. And we laugh and we say, 2027 is going to be
fire.
It's going to be that on steroids. And for some reason, we're okay with that. How do we remove ourselves from that reality? Or how do we say this connection should not happen? We should not be thinking like that. Can we even say, it sounds like something you would say to a child, don't eat this, But that's how people are thinking today, that I will run away or I will be a spectator to the madness and violence that's going to take place.
Let me speak it from this point of view, if you allow me. So Adam and Eve are created. Adam and Eve make a mistake. Adam and Eve leave the garden. What's the redemption plan? God leaving heaven and coming down, so that what is down can be reinstated back to heaven. You should not fear the mud. We should be willing to, like Jesus, leave our comfort zone and come to where the game is being played, so that we can be able to change. The goal is Adam and Eve, which is Kenyans. And I can tell you, let's take an assumption. What you have said, which is a very factual thing, and people should not ignore that. Let me ask you a question. What is the number of people in comparison to their capability of leaving Kenya? Which people are these that are going to leave Kenya if 54% lives under $1 a day? So I'm trying to imagine, if you're living under $1, is it food you think about, or you're going to save that dollar a day and eat nothing for a full year so that you can have money to go to Uganda. So these people that we are saying, they are going to walk out of Kenya, in comparison to the biggest number, what do you think the ratio probably would be?
True.
Probably a 10 to 90
Yeah,
I mean, the other day you saw that 125 people are controlling wealth equivalent to 43 million people.
Yeah.
So what percentage is that? I'm assuming that's 0.0 something.
Who will actually be able
Who will
to
actually
leave?
be able to leave. So when you look at it from the bigger picture, the people that are staying are superior. In assumption the people would leave, it would only probably affect a little bit of the economical structure. But the human resource, the human resource of it will not be able to leave this country and do anything. And again, I want to say this. We are not... one of the things which I don't say is the best teacher, but you have to look at it from your past experience. Experience is not always the best teacher. In the view of you having gone through it, I can learn from your experience. I don't need necessarily to go through it because I might die. I mean, maybe you have the grace to come out of the issue, and then me, I'm like, no, if she did or if he did, I'm also, no, you might die. So my experience is to learn from your experience without necessarily going through it myself. So the fact that some of these young guys will probably not appreciate where Kenya has come from. So they might not necessarily know where Kenya is going. Elderly people, probably people that are in their 40s, late 30s, 40s going upwards, they might probably appreciate where Kenya has a little bit come from. Reason is because we have an idea of what 2007 looked like. To imagine that I can think about a Kenya where I can see my neighbor literally stabbed to death is something unimaginable. And for you to say that it is this tribe, you can't bring tribalism into someone telling you that 2027 might look bad. Just think about what has happened in the by-election. Look at leaders in this nation. I mean, respected leaders chasing someone, holding them down. I think you saw it. Was it in Bere or wherever?
Yeah.
A whole respected leader that has been in government wanting to fight. Now, if that leader can think about it that way, what is the assumption of 43 million, 50 million Kenyans? What is it going to look like? Tanzania has reflected the reality. And you know Kenyans are fighters. Tanzania were fighting on the border. So Kenyans were telling them, take the fight to the city. Kenyans are, where it has gotten to, I'm seeing, you know the way a forest is dry, all it needs is a spark. And the fire is up burning. Kenya is literally getting to that place. And all it needs is someone to spark, tribal sparks, economical sparks, social sparks, even church sparks, where you see a pastor saying, you can imagine a pastor does not understand that the president does not have the power to build a church. And I'm a pastor on a public ground without consultation. Then a pastor just rises up and tells me, or tells pastors like us who have that point of view, that we are antichrist because we are rejecting the altar to be built. It means the fight has even gotten into the pulpits. So if the fight is inside the church, and the church is where people should run to, assuming 2027 things don't change, just imagine the divide the divide will be all the way from the church to the mosques, to the institutions, to the I mean, some of our media stations are bought, clearly you can see. And by the way, I thank Standard because unlike many, when you just look at the headings of Standards, you're like, man, thank God for Standard Media Group, because you say it as it is. Are look at your headings and you're like, these people, are they serious? Because there's no sugarcoating. Now, to find media productions like that are rarely bought, we all can tell the ones that are bought. So you can see the divide all the way from the marketplace to media, to churches, to mosque. It's going to get dark.
One would look at it in terms of if you look at the technology that you're now talking about and the solutions that it brings to the elections, we know for a fact that this is something you've presented to IEBC, right? They are, one would say, they have consumed the information. They know what is needed to be done. But for some weird reason, there is some lull, some silence in going full throttle in even ensuring that Kenyans are aware of this, that they partake in this, that they move forward. Because like you've said, China, 2015, they wanted by 2025 to be the greatest producers of clean energy, of electric cars and all that, right? It started by a dream. This is a dream that they have. Are we not tired enough for things not working? Are we not tired that we just want things to work so that we get out of the hole that we are in. Like you've said, we don't have to live a difficult life for us to say we got out of it. We can learn from bad experiences, which is countries around us, and what a bungled election would mean, and purpose to not walk that route and do everything possible to have a proper election. What's up with that? Have IEBC gotten back to you after presenting this?
No. So apparently this is the thing. The democratic space that Kenya is operating under has what you call a constitution. And I would want Kenyans again to listen. We don't just come from the bush to speak to you. We have an understanding of what we are saying. And today we're going to show you practically, in assumption that everything is set. Article 81 and Article 83 of the constitutions. Again, Kenyans, read your constitutions. Don't just wake up and say youth for youth. Youth for youth for what? Why are we coming together? Are we coming together to remove a person? No. We are coming together to remove bad governance. So that despite the person, whether the person is your tribe or the person is my tribe, bad governance is bad governance. Now, within that structure of the fact that Article 81 and Article 83 of the Constitution allows us to dream to these heights.
Right.
It's within the constitutional borders. We are not just, illustrating things that and assuming. So now the IEBC chair, we've already shared this, and as I told you, all the commissioners were there. Deputy chair, I think she's a lady, very young.
Yes.
Probably 32 or 33 years
She's
of age,
young, yes.
a Muslim lady, an amazing person. I can tell you that within that whole structure, that lady was really keen, because after we did it, she came to me and told me, wow, we need to make this thing push through. She's young. She has an understanding of what needs to be done. And I'm saying that in comparison to, the number of people that are coming out to participate in the protest. So by looking at it from that point of view, it's not that people are not tired. The leaders have a way of twisting that perspective. And I want to remind Kenyans what Article 1 of the Constitution reflects to. All sovereign power does not belong to politicians. It belongs to the people. So you must understand what is sovereign power. It means we reserve the right to say, this is not it and this is it. So because the leaders know that they can just come, and two of them are in the car, one is saying, a whole person that we call a professor. Then the other one is on the other side saying, Naskia soprano. Sasa, just imagine 50 plus 60-year-olds, that's what they are saying. And then now the problem is, the people down here, we don't read. The Bible says, study to show yourself approved. Imagine you going to the hospital, and then you sit down and you're saying your problem and everything, then someone treats you. Then after you have been given the medicine and he even tells you, take now, the person tells you, by the way, for your information, I just wanted you to know I'm a plumber. This is not... I
don't do this.
The main doctor was not here. I just had to stand in for the main doctor. Let me ask you a question. Would you trust that thing? So Kenyans, that's what is happening to us. We really need to know who are the doctors of our constitution, who are the doctors of this problem, so that we stop giving time to plumbers to tell us about things that have to do with medicine. And we have those doctors. If you are really keen to listen to some specific voices that are speaking, we are not the only ones. We are among the very few people that are pushing that reality. So the IEBC chairman looks at me and he tells me, we would want to push these things. He was very honest. We would want to take it to all social media. But you know where the buck lands or rests? We have three arms of government: the legislative, the executive, and the judiciary. So the members of parliament is which arm?
Legislative.
That is where it lies. So they are like, we're going to talk to them. Let them give us an opportunity to come and present. So what we are doing at this particular point, we are pushing the members of parliament. If you have nothing to hide, give us an opportunity to come and present. So the much that the IEBC chair can do is to listen and to say we are willing to use. But now the second point of view is the members of parliament to come on board, listen to the whole project, vote it, then allow us to do a demo. Even if it's from parastatal level, give us an opportunity. Let us show you what we have built and the security around it. If you love Kenya, you need to love what makes Kenya great. And this is part of it.
Usually, I remember growing up and there would be a certain subject that I would be afraid to attend its class. And that was because I didn't understand. I didn't understand a lot of the things that were being taught. And I was afraid to go and ask questions because it would make me look stupid. And I didn't want to look stupid. And the lack of knowledge was a crutch to me. So I would not ask questions during class.
Right.
And I became afraid of the subject, not because it was a bad subject, but because I didn't understand it.
Right.
And so because I didn't understand it, then the likelihood of me approaching it then decreased by every day. And so my grades at the end of that particular course were not very good because I was afraid, and the reason for that fear was because I didn't understand. We want to look at this, and the reason why I'm saying that is there a possibility that we don't want to accept this thing because we don't understand? What we understand is, it's just like now day and age that there's some supervisors in some human resource departments that imagine that if they don't see you physically, John, you must not be working. The way the world has changed, it's possible to be in another country and actually get work done. And so the same thing for voting, for example. If you don't see a paper entering into a slot and falling into a box, then a vote
does not count.
It's not possible that a vote has taken place, right? So the acceptance of this thing is because we don't understand, so we are afraid of it. I don't know if
I get it.
I
get it. Very powerful point.
So how do we release that fear? I could have walked to Miss Preston and I could have asked her, please, aside from the other 30 students in this class, can you explain this thing to me? And she would have, and I would have understood it, and my fear would have been gone. So this is an opportunity that we have again. Can you show us this thing? Let us understand what it is, and then perhaps our fear, day by day now, will start to subside, and we can understand. And us could also mean the members of parliament where this block is.
Have you ever previously, years back, ever gone to the Mama Mboga and you have bought some things and you want to make a payment? Remember some time back?
Yeah.
And you tell Mama Mboga, what's your M-Pesa number? Do you remember how Mama Mboga was rigid?
Yeah.
Like,
And she was like, because they want to see the actual money.
True.
Question, did it stop us from moving towards M-Pesa? Did Mama Mboga eventually catch up? Or we said, let's take the Mama Mboga pace. Which options did we take between these two?
Forced change.
Forced change. So Mama Mboga has to catch up.
She had to catch up.
Kenyans will need to catch up.
And
Forced change.
And I think, Kevin, it's important for us to just also realize that IEBC, as it says that it now lies squarely in the purview of Parliament, that IEBC itself can make recommendations to Parliament and request for amendments to the law and also for improvement of the electoral process. So IEBC can equally do that. So as we look at members of Parliament, is IEBC drafting a proposal to members of Parliament to discuss? Is another question.
Okay.
Very important. Very important. And actually they are.
Yeah.
The other day we were having that discussion. I think this is my point of view. The government must allow specific office to work independently. As much as you see the willingness of an individual, you can still see that the office is still dependent on another office. For example, the police department, right? Departments like the IEBC, we really know they're just independent from face value, but very dependent from a very, fundamental, foundational value point of view.
Yeah.
And my appeal would be that. And by the way, as you're saying, in as much at the end of it all the buck lays because of the way Kenya is structured.
Yeah.
The members of parliament are the people that pass the bill. But again, someone was telling me, what if you don't have the members of parliament? There is something superior to members of parliament. Can I tell you? Article 1 of the Constitution.
The people.
All sovereign power belongs to the people. We came ready, by the way, to show you and to educate. And those of you that don't know, we have been educating people on so many platforms. Talk of TV, talk of radio, talk of our social media platforms. And next year, we are going fully all out. We will be in your county. Blockchain 47. That's what we are calling it. Blockchain 47. We'll be in 47 counties, making sure that we educate the people. And by the way, let's say this. Eventually, there is a lady in our church that was married for a long period of time, but unfortunately, they were not getting a child. So she came to me and asked me, what should I do? I don't know why I spoke like this, and I want to be very professional online. I just told them, go and keep doing what a husband and a wife should do to get a child. That was the only thing I said. A year passed, a second year passed, a third year passed, but because they kept doing, on the fourth year, the child came. If we keep doing what we are doing, eventually,
Change will come.
change will come.
Yeah.
So let's vote.
Let's vote.
We have Jesse here, if you allow us to bring Jesse on board.
Yeah.
Jesse is among our people in the team. And so, Jesse, how are we doing it today?
Thank you so much for having us here. So basically today we are going to be demonstrating the very elemental concepts of this system. So I think much has been said about this system, but now I think it's time for the action, right? So I hope it's visible.
Yeah, she'll find you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, okay. So how this system has been structured, when you're working with a blockchain, with blockchain technology, the very security of the system is as good as the parties involved in the system, because there are alternative ways we can look at it. The earliest form of blockchain technology is like we spoke about last time. We have Bitcoin, we have Ethereum. Those are the oldest forms of blockchain. But as we keep evolving, we are getting to what is called the distributed ledger technology. That's DLT. It's still blockchain technology, but as we keep going, we keep using better versions of, we are arriving at more refined ways of doing this. And so in respect of that, we have our system here on its home screen. Hope it's visible. It has an interface that is basically meant to include everybody.
Okay.
Mostly we have the voter, we have election observers. Actually, we can, as we evolve at deployment, we can set this system up so that each political party is able to have an account where they're able to track the votes of their candidates.
Okay.
That's one of the benefits of this system. I'd like to say something.
So all
also.
this thing of people going to a police station to sit there and protect their vote, everybody having a super agent, national agent, out of the window.
You just need to have an agent whom has access to, we can customize it to have the candidates of your political party, so you're able to follow up on your results, performance
from wherever you are without crowding a polling station.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that really increase the margin of error is a lot of people in one place, and human is to error. So you don't expect accuracy where too many people are. They always say that many cooks spoil the broth.
True.
Yes. Another thing I'd like to add this morning on this as we go is that, you see, we've been talking about security, and last time I want to respond to a question somebody asked. Somebody asked a question, and they were asking, once a single group controls over 50% of the hash rate or the proof of work or staked coins, Okay, proof of work, we're talking about Bitcoin. Proof of stake, we're talking about Ethereum. Bitcoin is secured by power. Ethereum is secured by wealth.
Okay.
Because you stake a lot of money to prove you can validate information. You have money at stake. I'm getting to this to explain.
Sure,
something.
get it. Get it.
So the question is, once a single group controls over 50% of the hash rate or staked coins, they can secretly build a longer private chain that omits the information that has already been appended on the system. Well, that is an advantage, because if at all that's possible, if everyone has a receipt that they have voted and you have that original proof, if tampering takes place, we have proof that the election has been tampered with.
Right.
So it is you can't hack the election and get away with it, because the voters themselves have the original proof of what they had fed the system. So should you manage to corrupt this information, people will eventually check it as the election is going on and see that actually what I voted is not what has come out. So even the basis of rerunning an election is on consensus that everybody's like, yo, we voted, but
Election is bungled.
yes.
Okay.
So it's very transparent. So now we get to our system here.
We are going to do a practical of it.
Yeah.
So how the vote will work all
Yes.
the way from the beginning and the end, and we show you the winner.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll start with the admin console. This is what the electoral body, which is the IEBC, should be able to have in their system. Now, for the sake of time, I have already fed the system with candidates, and I'm just going to show you the process of a voter confirming the eligibility.
Okay.
So this is the admin console. As you can see on your screen, you have the system there. Now this is what the people who manage this election will be able to do. So what you can see here that we have the election window. I had already set this system to start the election at 7:30 a.m.
Okay.
That is why here at the top, you can see that voting is open.
It's ongoing.
On the console.
All
You
right.
can see the election is going.
Okay.
So now I'll just change the time to start at 9 a.m.
Okay.
No, start
Oh,
immediately.
start now.
Okay.
The next
Yeah.
1 minute.
Okay, let me
because
start in the next
we don't
1
have
minute.
much time.
All right. 8:53. Let me set 54. And end in the next 5 minutes, if that's okay.
Yes. So what he's doing is that he's showing you how the IBC will be setting.
We'll be setting.
It
Okay.
begins at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m., whichever time,
Yes.
and it ends at. So you're going to see there from 8:54, then you have set it to end at what time?
9 a.m.
So at 9, it will shut down, and then we're going to see whether immediately it gives you the winner.
The winner.
So
Okay.
you can see right here at the top, voting is closed because I've changed the time. But as soon as the system synchronizes with the current time, it will immediately show that voting is
Because it's
open.
not yet 8:53. Those little points are very important.
Very important.
I really request the people on the other end to show the computer so that those little details, like that top part written, voting closed.
Voting is closed
You
at the
can't
moment.
vote
You can't
until that
until it
set
is
time
open.
Yes,
is
it
open.
is
So let's say it's 20. If we go by your watch, it's how many seconds to 8:54? It's 30 seconds.
Right.
So you're going to
So-
see the word
yes.
there say open
Okay.
in 30 seconds. Continue.
All right, so now I'll go quickly to the view of a voter. So the voter is here. I'm just going to sign this one out. Then we can now get to the portal of the voter.
Okay.
So if the system is reading that voting is closed, you can register.
You can register while it's still
Yes.
closed. Okay.
But if election is already on, registration closes.
Okay.
And voting can happen. Those two logics are very important to pay attention to, because there's no way we can have people registering and voting on election day. It's actually not according to the protocol of how elections are done.
Yeah.
So here we have an account. We'll just quickly sign in.
So I think your voting time is open now.
Yes, so voting time is open. So this is what the voter will just do. I'm just going to use random numbers for the ID. Let's call this one,
Surname.
let me use Abdallah. Ali. So that's the name and the ID number. So you can see you get to
So
select.
these processes are very important.
It's very important.
If you can show them,
Yeah.
it will be, thank you so much.
Yeah. So once now you the next step is to confirm where you are, your location, if it matches what you had actually registered on during the registration process. This ensures that as you're viewing the candidates who to vote for, you see, if you're in Machakos, you have no business seeing candidates from Murang'a.
You only see what's
Yes,
important
yes.
to you at that point.
Save for the position of the president, because that's a global
Open,
position.
yeah.
It's national.
Right, yeah.
Everyone can see the president.
Okay.
So all other information, that's why this tab is particularly important. You can now see your voter jurisdiction, you set your constituency, you set your ward. Right, then you can proceed. Now, this is actually now where it gets interesting. We are at the biometrics tab. Now, the biometric, this is why I was saying, if at all somebody was to even hack, assuming it's possible, it's really difficult, because it's mathematically an impossibility. It's improbable. The probability is quite low. But what is your security is you, because in as much as I can try and duplicate information, I can't duplicate you.
Yeah.
Because your key to this system is your biometric, your fingerprint, maybe your iris, those unique identifiers. So here, the voter is going to scan their thumb or whatever. The system will just instruct them. So that I'm going to just scan my.
So he's scanning his thumb.
Yes.
You're going to see there.
And once I'm done with that, it's going to hash that in. That becomes my identity. It's unique to me, and that's when I create a token to allow me to vote. So I'm going to quickly scan. Right. So you can see there, it's saying biometric hash. And it has given me bio and a random number. Now that's my identity.
Okay.
It's not my actual name. Nobody knows who I am in that sense.
They can see it has turned. Now you can see it was turning color.
Yes.
Then it has become green.
Green.
It means
Okay.
it has been accepted.
All
You've seen
right.
that right
The
there.
vote has happened.
The vote, yeah.
And now I can complete registration.
So this is registration has happened.
So registered. Now, since voting is open, the voter, Abdallah Ali, can now proceed, and now he can be able to see the candidates. Now, this is your ballot paper. But if there was any issue in this process, you will not get to actually vote.
Okay.
Right. So this is what's happening on this end. Now we can go back to the admin console to see election voting is open. That's why Abdallah could be able to actually access. If the system was closed, maybe we can close to show that.
No. So if the
Okay,
system
we
is
understand.
closed,
Yes.
Yeah, you
Abdallah would not be able
Yes,
to
to-
access
okay.
The system will
Okay.
just tell him
Yeah.
voting
Right.
is closed.
Is closed,
so
yes.
he just have to wait.
Okay.
All right. Now you've seen practically how the system mints a token. Now that token is linked cryptographically to your biometric, be it your fingerprint or whatever biometric is used. Let's stick to the fingerprint. So it means that once that has happened, your token is now already live. It has been activated.
Yeah.
So now we will show you after voting what happens, because once you've voted, that token is no longer valid. It has to be banned.
Yes.
Last time I talked about minting and banning. So at registration, at verification, that's minting. After voting, that's banning. So you can see we are still ongoing. We have 1 minute. Let me go back and vote quickly. So this is because of setting up this system, we just referred to 2022.
Okay.
We just used those. So let's just vote randomly. Okay, they have it to be random.
Okay, just
yeah.
whichever the
Okay.
case. Yeah.
Right.
So that is for what?
This is Nairobi. We're in
You are
Nairobi
voting.
now.
The first one is for the president.
Yes, now this is the
Okay.
president's.
Excuse me, just a second.
Yeah.
Forgive me. We want the people to see, exactly. So keep
Yeah.
it like that, so that
Is
the
it-
people can see, right? Okay, so let's go slowly. The first one.
We
there,
have 40 seconds.
He has voted for the
Yeah.
president. Next,
So next you can see the governor.
governor.
You will select, we are voting from Nairobi. That's Sakaja.
Senator.
For the senator, we had not fed the system. There
Okay.
was a bit of an issue there. But basically, you can get the logic.
Okay,
The
yes.
vote allocates for 6 positions on the ballot. Senator, women representative, we'll just vote randomly. MCA. Okay. According to the time on this one, the voting has closed, so I can't vote now.
Okay.
It has already passed time.
9. You remember how he said to the
Yeah.
9
9, yeah.
So you see,
Yeah.
when it gets to evening and you've not voted, you simply can't vote.
You
and
can't
that's-
vote after that.
That's your
Yes.
So these are the intricacies of the system that we're looking at. What we should have done was to have set the time and voted immediately,
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
close
Yes,
after that.
Yes, but I had to explain. That's why we
Yeah.
Sure, I understand, and it's and that alone gives an explanation that we can't be outside of the timings. For
Yes.
example,
Yes.
some of the foul play that we've seen previously that has resulted then in the need to protect a vote then has been shut out by this.
Yes.
And even as we then close down on this conversation, I mean, opportunities then lie for us to look into it a little bit more, because people want to then be able to see and understand. Now, looking at the system and what it then provides, the question still remains lingering, and we can see the questions that are coming in from folks. Why would you want to, based on the 5 questions that you asked, again, comparing the two, why would you want to say no to something that would be very clear in terms of the technology and also the result, what you can protect?
Actually, the ones that the question is to are approximately 300 people that are sitting on that. Kenyans have no problem. Kenyans are willing to pursue anything that can be of interest to them. So this why should only be asked to a very secluded group of people, which happens to be the members of parliament. And we can all tell. I don't think, in my view, honestly looking at it, I'm now realizing so many things. I don't think, in my view, that when Right Honorable Raila said at some point his votes were taken, or you hear another person say that, it's a possibility with the kind of setup we have, because it's very penetratable. In order to reduce that reality, we will need to create an impenetrable, or rather to reduce the capability of penetrating these kind of things. Just imagine right now, in 2022, how much money did Kenya use for a when they went to the, was it in
2017?
2017.
Yep.
You can imagine how much money we used again to go back to
the ballots.
to the ballot.
The ballot, yeah.
So it's not an issue necessarily of why would people, it's why would the leaders. And the people, what we want to do is to make sure that the people understand there's something like this, so they push their leader. So we are able to see who is that person that doesn't want change, so that we can apply the second type of change, which is forced change.
Are we our own enemies?
Are we a what?
Our own enemies.
They say if you want to hide anything from an African, put it in a book.
My
I
God,
don't
were you
know.
listening to the show this morning at about 6 o'clock? Because
That's exactly what he
That's
said.
exactly. We asked 2 things to happen this morning. One is that as people travel, to please be careful. Wait that 1 minute so that you don't get mashed by. Wait for 30 seconds to save a life. And then we said, please, okay, fine. Maybe 2025 is over. 2026, read a book, even one. If you start in January and finish in December, it is okay. But read one thing. Okay, read the Constitution. Okay, read the Bible. I mean, come on. We
Just
are
read.
begging. Something. Okay.
It is that way. And I can say this, Kenya, no one is coming to change Kenya.
Yeah.
If you want Kenya to ban it. If you want Kenya to change
Change it.
The choice is up to you. No one is coming to change our nation apart from us. We will need to step out of the ignorance level where people, listen, you don't see, no pregnant woman is pregnant by osmosis.
It's a process.
That change was made to happen. I don't want to say beyond that. Change doesn't change because it can change. Change is made to happen. We can make Kenya change. And I believe that this
An
is
uncomfortable question that one would ask is, you presented these, Bishop, and as well as we know the fact that you approached 200 million was given to you.
Was suggested.
Was suggested, yes. Sorry, was suggested. Yes, was suggested. Yeah. So have we seen? Have you experienced any kinds of interference in any way? Or any attempts?
political interference, life interference, so many interferences. Right now, I have so many people that want to be my friends. So many people.
All of a
wants to be
sudden.
my friends. On Saturday, I was running a program called the Future Leaders Summit, where we had called several people. I think we had invited Dindi Nyoro, Babu Owino. All of a sudden, that morning, I was coming from Siaya. I came very early in the morning. I had gone to Kibabi University to talk to the tech people concerning the same thing. So I've been doing a lot of things on ground. All of a sudden, Honorable Babu Owino is sick. I cannot say much. Only for the sabotage is unimaginable. The way people are willing to make, and I'm so shocked with the levels people are willing to go to keep the status quo. There are people that not changing is how they make money. When systems don't change, that's where money is made for some people.
That's interesting that you say that, because the CS Treasury was here last Thursday and he said the exact same thing. He said that they're trying to put systems in place in the country, digital systems in place, and that he has people who are calling him daily, who are telling him, why are you doing this? That what you're doing is sabotaging how we've been able to do business in the past. And he said, yes, that's what we're going to do. If that is what it means, sabotaging, we're going to sabotage. Now, can that exist in the same system where a political system may also exist, where the opposite is happening? On one side, Treasury says, we're plugging all the loopholes. If that is the appetite, shouldn't that be the appetite then across board?
At the end of the day, change must look like change. You can't change and unchange at the same time. So if we are coming on board, we are literally coming to kill a system, not to work with a system. Because let me ask a question. What are the fruits of that system? For corruption, bad governance, political prostitution,
bungled election.
Just imagine all those kind of things. So in as much as you would want to accommodate some things, the reality of the matter is we will need to refresh this whole, you know, the way you take your phone back to factory setting. We'll need to factory reset Kenya.
Hard stop.
Complete hard stop, because I came with a document here to show you how ready we are. I don't even have time, maybe one day. And by the way, thank you so much I feel like you have given us so much airtime. We were here the other day, but I'm sure it's because there is some wisdom to it. And so thank you so much to the group and everyone involved. We have so many things we can show you that we have built, not just necessarily on voting. These systems we have built will secure things like, the way you gazette, what do you call them? The government gazettes, the contracts that, tenders.
Yes.
We have systems whereby if you want to apply for anything, just go to that system. We have already built it. We have health systems, they're here. If you want any tender, go there. If you want to know who built which road, how much money did they use, blockchain is not just about voting. It's literally, we are bringing a new system. You don't need to go and say, I know now a member of parliament, I can get, like now, I can go get housing project because, no, go to the system. The system will vote you in itself. We are looking for this kind of person. The lowest bidder is like this, key into the system. My name is so-and-so, these are my documents. The system will reject or accept. No human interference of any kind. No human interference of any kind. So what we are building goes beyond 2027. We are into the future because we are the future.
Yeah.
That's it. That's where we are. And that, you thank us, but I think that if we don't have this level of conversation and discourse, we're doing ourselves a disservice if we're talking about, doing better, progression, the future. That if we don't, then if we keep going round and round in circles about which politician said what, and we want to get better tomorrow, and we don't have this kind of discourse, then we're doing a great injustice and a disservice to that future that we speak of. So necessary for us to have these conversations, and that you've been able to lend your voice to it, and that you won't stop. It'll be interesting to see Blockchain 47. People have already dubbed it. People have dubbed it Blockchain 47.
Blockchain 47.
So it's interesting to see what it's going to be.
Can you allow me to make one statement?
Yeah, sure.
Kenyans, we are not fighting a tribal war. Do not fight your neighbor. Let us fight a war of intelligence. If you are the stronger one in the mind, win. But don't win with your hand. Don't win with your fist. Do not fight anyone. Don't create enemies. Young people, nothing is leaderless. Even hell has Satan. And heaven has Jesus. Only Gen Zs have nothing. But you can't blame them because the people that they trust, most of them has been bought. But still, nothing is leaderless. The more, when you have a leader, you have a head. And when there is a head, you can see, you can speak, you can hear, you can smell. Just imagine.
You can move.
You can reason. That is the power of the
You
head.
can read.
You can read. So make sure you find your leaders and make sure that those leaders find it worthy to serve you.
Thank you very much for being here this
Maybe
morning.
just you can allow me to just add something. If time had allowed, we were going to look at the National Tallying Center on the system. This is available to everybody, where the real-time result of the election is visible. Everybody can see what's happening. You can just follow it.
So we don't need to go to Bomas.
You don't need to go to Bomas. You don't need those very strong headlines you guys put on TV during elections. Kivumbi. So it just becomes so simple, but it is verifiable. Another thing maybe we've not mentioned is that diaspora, we have over 4 million people, 4 million Kenyans in diaspora. Do you know how many of them actually voted in 2022?
Very few.
Less than 10,000.
Yeah.
Less than 10K. With this system, everybody can just vote, even if you see, the more advanced a democracy is, the better maybe we can adopt technology. But we have not really matured as a country in terms of democracy. So even if they don't adopt this system fully, why not? Well, let's run it in diaspora. Let's see how it can process 4 million votes at least.
Let's begin. Is the question. Is the thing.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much for being here. Governance expert John C.W., thank you for being here. Also, Jesse, thanks for joining us as well. And we look forward to the next time that we can talk. And it should not be too long because these things, they will suffer from a space of silence. Asante Sana for being here this morning. It's 12 minutes past 9. Conversations continue after this. Good morning.
94.4 Spice FM. Naira.